A very good afternoon to everyone who's logged in. I'm Nena. I'm an executive committee member of National Positive Psychology Association. And on behalf of Team NPPA, I welcome you all to this keynote address on the topic Designing Transformative Digital Experiences, the Potential of Positive Technologies for Personal Change. The speaker for this session is Dr. Andrea Gaggioli. Dr. Gaggioli is a full professor of general psychology at the Department of Psychology at the Catholic University of the Sacred Heart in Milan, Italy. He is also the director of the Research Center in Communication Psychology and of the International Specializing Master in User Experience Psychology at the same university. Professor Gaggioli's research focus is the psychology of digital experience using a broad spectrum of methods, instruments, and technologies. At the applied level, his goal is to integrate positive psychology, digital tools, and art to design transformative experiences that improve people's lives. He has published widely in international journals, and he is a member of the editorial board of prestigious scientific journals in his field. We thank you, sir, for being here with us. The chair for this keynote session is Professor G. Padmaja. With over 2 decades of teaching experience, Professor Padmaja has made significant contributions to the field of psychology through innovative methods, including the development of e-learning materials for various institutions and platforms. Her expertise spans across areas such as health psychology, counseling, psycho-oncology, and geriatric health, with a particular interest in the well-being of women. Dr. Padmaja has been actively involved in research and has led projects funded by prestigious organizations like ICSSR and University of Hyderabad. Dr. Padmaja has been recognized with numerous awards, including the Inspiring Woman Award from the Telangana Psychologists Association, showcasing her dedication and impact in the field. Dr. Padmaja's extensive engagement extends beyond academia, as evidenced by her counseling initiatives and media contributions, highlighting her commitment to both scholarship and community well-being. We welcome you, Dr. Padmaja, and I kindly request you to take over.
Thank you so much for that kind introduction. And we welcome you, Professor Andrea Gaggioli. It was a pleasure knowing about your contributions to the field. And we eagerly look forward. In fact, it's an honor and pleasure to be a part of this conference. And I thank the organizers for making me a part of this. It was very interesting listening to the previous lecture as well. And we eagerly look forward. As the chair of this session, I feel honored, and we eagerly look forward, sir, to listen to your valuable insights on the topic. Thank you so much. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. A warm welcome from Milan. Please let me share my screen. Can you confirm you see my screen?
Yes, we are able to. Yes.
And my slides as well?
Yes.
So I can start. So
yes.
First of all, I would like to thank the NPPA for having me today. And I feel that the topic of this conference is really the best framework for presenting my research. So thank you again for giving me the opportunity to share my work with this distinguished audience. I would like to start from the outline of my talk. This is the title of my talk, and this is the outline. So first, I will begin by taking you on a brief journey in the past, present, and maybe future, tracing the origins and motivations of positive technology. And moving on, I will delve into the key areas of study of positive technology and the diverse applications of this research field. Well, it's more a research topic still, but its ambition is to become a research field, of course. And I will illustrate these concepts with some examples of real-world applications, ranging from digital interventions for stress management to immersive virtual reality experiences for fostering transformative experiences. And in the concluding section, I will focus towards the future evolution of positive technology and discuss the emerging trends and challenges that lie ahead in this research area. So why positive technology? Well, you know, significant research has focused on understanding the risk associated with digital technologies. On the other side, my feeling is that the exploration of the use of computers to enhance well-being has received comparatively less attention. However, as we see in this conference, this inquiry is gaining increasing importance as computers continue to pervade our daily lives. Indeed, we are not just using technologies, we are now immersed in digital ecosystems where the boundaries between physical and digital space are becoming increasingly blurred. The advancement in augmented reality, Internet of Things, robotics, and artificial intelligence are really reshaping our living spaces. Houses, offices, public spaces, and more are being transformed into digitally enriched environments, blurring the traditional boundaries between what is considered real and what is considered simulated. And within these hybrid phygital ecosystems, the boundaries of interaction extend beyond traditional means. Objects, tools, and even our own bodies can be transformed into programmable interfaces, enabling entirely new ways of experiencing physical and social spaces. So I think that the metaphor of reality as an app encapsulates the defining characteristics of these digital spaces. It illustrates how the integration of computers into everyday objects, coupled with the growing bidirectional flow of information between the digital and the physical realms, is actively reshaping our environment. And this process is reshaping our perception interaction with the world around us. And what about robots? Well, robots, the audio. Robots may soon become an integral part of everyday life, making people increasingly dependent on them. And consumer robotics industry is growing rapidly and is projected to thrive also in the future. There is strong emphasis on personal assistance robotics, for example, in Western countries, in Europe, also in Italy, with significant investments dedicated to meeting the needs of aging and mobility impaired populations. And there is substantial investments aimed to improve the assistance provided by robots to these individuals. And not to speak about the progress of generative artificial intelligence. As you know, ChatGPT is becoming a mainstream application and has currently over 100 million of users globally. And this is amazing, thinking that it was launched in November 2022, and it took just 5 days for ChatGPT 3 to achieve 1 million users. So while these technologies have become commonplace in our daily lives, the question of whether they really contribute to our happiness is really open. And surprisingly, most psychological studies nowadays are examining the effects of technology on well-being, but concentrating primarily on their potential negative consequences, the potential risk, such as cyber addiction, techno stress, privacy concerns, and so on. Of course, these important aspects should be addressed, but in contrast, less emphasis, less attention has been placed on exploring how these digital tools could be used to enhance psychological well-being and facilitate positive change. And this was the main motivation behind the development of positive technology. So it's the desire to explore closely how information and communication technology applications could be leveraged to enhance positive experiences and personal growth. And it has been really a long journey in the sense that the concept of positive technology is not really new, in the sense that it began to take shape during my PhD studies back in 2004, in which I first encountered the field of positive psychology, thanks to my PhD supervisor, Antonella Delle Fave, who is one of the most prominent experts, as you know, in the area of positive psychology. And in the following years, I and a growing group of researchers, including, for example, Giuseppe Riva, Cristina Bottella, Rosa Benios, and others, we started to realize the potential of integrating positive psychology interventions and technology to enhance human well-being and foster positive experiences. And nowadays, in the last 15 years, research positive technology has attracted increasing attention from a growing community of scholars, leading to many conference papers, dedicated symposia and workshops, special issues in journals, and edited books. And as an emerging area of research, efforts have been spent on developing the conceptual pillars and levels of analysis, as well as on the definition of frameworks for bridging well-being principles into the design of interacting systems. So at the methodological and applied level, research on positive technology is focusing on the design, development, and validation of novel digital experiences that aim at promoting positive change through pleasure, flow, meaning, competence, strengths, and positive relationships. I would like to describe some flagship research projects that, in my view, illustrate well how the principles of positive technology could be used to develop positive technology applications. But first of all, I would like to focus on which are, in my opinion, the four pillars of positive technology today. First of all is positive psychology, which provides the scientific knowledge that we need to have to learn what are the determinants of positive change and mental well-being. Then, of course, we have also neuroscience, which allows us to understand what are the neurocognitive changes induced by positive experiences, because positive technology pretends to be an evidence-based design and development field. Interaction design is very important because as we have seen in the previous presentation, it allows us to understand how we can integrate technology in well-being interventions. And finally, last but not least, also the languages of art are very important because we can learn from art in designing interactive media that induce, for example, positive emotional experiences. So I think that positive technology results from the combination of these four areas of knowledge. I would like to start with an example from a project, a European funded project that I coordinated some years ago, which focuses on the issue of psychological stress in professional and social context. And in this project, we try to develop some cutting-edge ICT-based solutions for preventing, managing workplace-related stress. And the main aim of the project was to create an experiential technology framework that we defined interreality, that is based on establishing a seamless connection between the real and virtual worlds. The concept was to use virtual reality scenarios to assist individuals in understanding and proactively managing stress triggers with transfer of learning to real-life situations facilitated by wearable devices and smartphones. And specifically, the project aimed to provide people with effective tools for understanding, preventing, and addressing stress in their everyday lives, but in particular in workplace situations. So what we do? Our research involved the creation of a range of virtual stressful scenarios that were specifically designed for the assessment and training purposes. And these scenarios were developed based on data and insights that we gathered through interviews and focus groups carried out with our target user population, which included nurses and teachers. I would like to link to the previous presentation. During the question and answer session, it was stressed that it's very important to know the final user. And I would like to emphasize this aspect because positive technology is really founded on the knowledge of the expectations and needs of users. And for this reason, a user research phase, a deep dive analysis of their needs is really important in order to design effective positive technology solutions. So we designed these virtual worlds, and we also exposed teachers and nurses to these stressful virtual situations, of course, under the supervision of a psychologist. And the goal was to teach these patients emotional coping skills and ways to prevent acute stress situations to emerge during these stressful situations. Another important piece of the project was to create a mobile application that used heart rate monitoring to automatically detect the stress levels during their daily lives. And this allowed us to assess the effectiveness of virtual reality interventions and personalize the therapeutical intervention based on the progress of each patient. So by integrating the stress data collection in real time with the InterStress virtual reality system, we were able to empower and customize the virtual reality interventions to meet the specific needs of each patient. For instance, the application enabled the selection of the most relevant and impactful stressful scenarios for an individual, ensuring that a tailored and effective therapeutic experience could be delivered. This is the meaning of the concept of interreality. So exposure to virtual environments happened in the studium of the psychologist. But then we collected daily life data related to stress to tailor the virtual reality intervention in the studio of the therapist. And in addition to this, another significant development was the creation of a 3D biofeedback training application, which enabled participants to monitor and actively modulate their physiological arousal patterns by regulating their breath. And so in this project, we tried to leverage the ubiquity of the smartphones in daily lives and exploit their capabilities as a tool also for biofeedback training. Okay, but does it work? Does interreality work? We carried out a controlled randomized trial, which involved 3 arms. In one arm, there was no treatment intervention, so wait list. In a second arm, we delivered standard cognitive behavioral therapy. And in the third arm, we added cognitive behavioral therapy and interreality intervention. So we enriched the cognitive behavioral therapy with some virtual reality sessions and the use of the mobile monitoring and biofeedback app. Results showed that both treatments, CBT and interstress, were able to significantly reduce perceived stress with a slightly better outcome for the interreality treatment. But only participants who received interreality treatment reported a significant reduction, for example, in chronic trait anxiety. And also participants who received the interreality treatment, they reported a significant greater increase in the emotional support compared to conventional CBT treatment. Of course, we know that change is hard. So in the following years after the end of this project, we worked hard on developing a new research program within positive technology that we call Transformative Experience Design. In this program, our objective is to explore how advanced simulation technologies, such as virtual and augmented reality and the language of arts, again, can facilitate profound emotional experiences that stimulate and foster personal transformation. First of all, let's start from introducing the very concept of a transformative experience. We know that the personal change in psychology is generally considered as a gradual and linear process, which occurs either as a result of maturation over the lifespan or the result of a therapeutic intervention. However, research from different disciplines, including, for example, anthropology, philosophy, suggests the existence of a second type of change, which is called transformative change, which involves a radical and long-lasting shift in the individual's core beliefs, values, and attitudes. This type of radical change is sometimes triggered by experiences, which not by chance are defined life-changing experiences that have the capability of changing not only what individuals know and value, but also how they see the world. For these characteristics, transformative experiences are gaining increasing attention, not only in psychology and neuroscience, but also in philosophy. To illustrate the concept, consider the famous short novel by Charles Dickens, A Christmas Carol, which tells the transformative experience of Ebenezer Scrooge, who is a greedy, cold-hearted, and selfish usurer in the city of London, who is very egocentric and suggests that for example, the poor should die. And as you know, on Christmas night, he meets three ghosts: the spirit of Christmas past, the spirit of Christmas present, and the spirit of the Christmas yet to come. And these three ghosts, they will retrace Scrooge's existence, showing the misery of his present and what will happen in the future. As you know, he will die and no one misses him. So after this encounter, Scrooge wakes up on Christmas Day with a new outlook on life, grateful for being given a second chance. Of course, this is a novel, but it's a novel that carries out some serious message about the idea of transformative experience. Although in principle, all experiences have the potential to change us, and psychologists know this very well, we intuitively know that not all experiences bear the same transformative potential. For example, according to the philosopher Laurie Paul, an experience can truly change us if it is both epistemically and personally transformative. Paul argues that an experience is epistemically transformative when it allows an individual to grasp a new knowledge that would be inaccessible to the knower until he or she has such an experience. For example, hearing a sound or seeing colors for the very first time. This is an epistemically transformative experience. However, there are experiences that not only teach us something totally new, but they are also able to change our viewpoint and our core preferences and values. For example, the experience of having a child not only provides new knowledge about what it's like to have a baby, but it can also change a person's values, priorities, self-conception in ways that are deep and unpredictable. From a psychological perspective, transformative change is often associated to specific experiential states, defined transcendent experiences. These are transient mental states that allow individuals experiencing something greater of themselves, reflecting on deeper dimensions of their existence and shaping lasting spiritual beliefs. And the common characteristic of transformative experiences is that they are often involving deep feeling of awe, a complex emotion in which fear is blended with astonishment, admiration, and wonder. Awe is a compelling emotional experience with philosophical roots in the domain of aesthetics and religious or spiritual experiences. The contemporary psychological understanding of awe comes largely from a seminal paper written by Kellner and Haidt back in 2003. And according to their definition, the experience of awe encompassed two key appraisals: the perception of vastness and the need to mentally attempt to accommodate this vastness into existing mental schemas. So, next question is, given that transformative experience exists and their core emotional component is the feeling of awe and wonder, what if we could actually design digital experiences that facilitate or invite such personal experiences of transformation? Take, for example, the overview effect. You know what is the overview effect? The overview effect is an experience that astronauts experience when they are in outer space and see the Earth from distant space. What if we had a technology that is capable of simulating such an experience? Could we then try to use such digital experience to inspire awe and wonder in people? In the recent years, my colleague Alicia Kirikon and me, we have conducted a series of studies exploring the potential of immersive virtual reality for inducing awe. In our initial investigations, we aimed to understand whether virtual reality could effectively elicit feelings of awe within controlled laboratory environments. And to accomplish this, we developed immersive virtual environments that simulated awe experience scenarios. These digital environments were designed to evoke a sense of perceptual vastness, for example, mountain landscapes or the oceans, but also the need of accommodation. For example, deep space view of Earth or the visualization of a black hole in space. And as expected, our results showed that awe-inducing virtual environments could induce significantly higher levels of awe and presence as compared to control conditions which were either neutral virtual environments or virtual environments inducing other types of emotions. And furthermore, these awe-inducing virtual environments were able to induce significantly more positive than negative affect. And these findings support the potential of immersive virtual reality for inducing wonder and provide useful indications for the design of awe-inspiring technology. As a next step, we wanted to investigate whether virtual reality-induced awe could have an effect on creativity. But why the feeling of awe should lead to greater creativity? Previous research suggests that the connection between creativity and awe is stronger than one might expect. Here are some findings from related literature. For example, openness to experience, which is the single strongest and most consistent personality trait that predicts creative achievement, also predicts feelings of awe. Awe can also extend people's mental frames, and by expanding people's mental frames, this emotion could also help people to find new connections among objects or ideas. Creative thinking, at the end of the day, is the ability to recombine ideas and to find new relationships between them. And from the literature, we also know that uncommon and unexpected experiences in which people feel actively involved could enhance the ability of finding new links among ideas. And finally, Dr. Fong demonstrated that ambivalent and ambiguous emotional states like awe, which are states that entail both negative and positive dimensions, are conducive to creativity. Again, awe is an ambiguous emotion, which could thus enhance creativity. So, based on this rationale, we set out to investigate if inducing the emotion of awe using virtual reality could stimulate more creative thinking. We used 3D videos to induce feelings of awe, and we tested whether two key appraisals of awe, which is vastness and need for accommodation, could improve participants' creative performance. The first virtual scenario was an awe-inducing content, for example, a panoramic view of tall trees, sequoias, and the second scenario displayed instead a neutral content, which was some chickens wandering. Here, neutral means that the video of these animals was not associated to a specific emotions by participants, and therefore it was used as a control condition. And after watching these videos, participants were required to perform two verbal subtests of the Torrance creativity test, which is the product improvement task, which evaluates the ability to generate creative ideas for enhancing existing products, and the unusual uses task, which assess the capacity to think creatively and find unconventional applications for ordinary objects. Next, these verbal subtests were scored on the basis of fluency, flexibility, and originality, which are three core dimensions of creative thinking. So, did the awe-inspiring video induce higher creativity levels than the neutral one? To address this question, we compared awe versus neutral videos creativity levels for each of the creativity dimensions, which were fluency, flexibility, originality, and elaboration, and regarding each subtest, so product improvement and unusual uses. And results showed that awe-inspiring videos induce significantly higher levels of fluency, flexibility, originality, and elaboration in product improvement subtest compared with the neutral video. And the same dimensions of creativity were found also higher in the unusual uses subtest compared with the neutral video. In my opinion, this could be a further example of how virtual reality could be used to foster positive experience that induce a positive change, in this case in the creativity level. In a more recent study, we wanted to test whether virtual reality, art, and nature create equally intense feeling of the sublime, of awe. In this study, we exposed participants to view one of 360 degrees videos using a virtual reality headset. One video was a rendering of Vincent van Gogh's famous painting The Starry Night, while the second was a photorealistic panorama of the village of Saint-Rémy-de-Provence in France, which was the actual site that Van Gogh depicted in his painting. This let us compare an art-based stimulus with a very similar nature-based environment. And we found that both the painting and the photorealistic village generated feelings of the sublime in participants, regardless of their personality traits or other types of interest in aesthetics. But the photorealistic village elicited stronger perceptions of vastness and existential danger. Thus, in this study, we learned that nature and art are equally good at evoking or bringing about the experience of the sublime, which is a very interesting indication for designing these experiences. But at the same time, there were some differences in the experiences associated to the depiction of the natural and the original place and the place depicted in the painting. In fact, this difference is indicative probably of what Van Gogh experienced in the very moment he was inspired to create this painting. Of course, this is just an assumption, but it's an intriguing one. And what are the practical applications of using virtual reality as a powerful emotional inductor? Well, in this experiment, for example, we try to understand whether virtual reality could be used to promote ecological behaviors. As you know, the massive presence of plastics in the natural environment, especially in the oceans, is a growing concern because it's responsible for environmental deaths and is increasing. So our aim in this case was to understand whether presenting data about plastic consumption in an abstract, so numerical or statistical, versus concrete, so 3D analogical format, would affect differentially people, attitudes, and behavioral intentions towards plastic use, waste, and recycle. The concrete form of representing information consisted of using a three-dimensional image to depict the average usage of plastic instead of using just numbers, as you read in the newspapers, right? Displaying in these virtual environments, we displayed the bottles, the real bottles, instead of the numbers. So we assume that in translating the statistic and numerical data about plastic consumption into compelling visual representation that elicit awe and wonder could attract participants' attention and lead to a deeper cognitive elaboration of the underlying message. And our results indeed suggested that adding this experiential and emotional touch to the representation of these statistics could improve the persuasive effectiveness of the message. And indeed, virtual reality offers an ideal medium to convey ecological messages. Subsequently, we wanted to analyze more specifically the effect of on pro-ecological behaviors. In this study, we involved participants who experienced different virtual reality environments. In one condition, we had awe-inspiring virtual nature. In a second condition, we have non-natural, awe-inspiring scenarios. And then, as you can see in this matrix, non-awe-inspiring virtual nature and non-natural, non-awe-inspiring scenarios. So we try to understand the effects of all these situations. We found that pro-environmental attitudes were differently affected by these four conditions. Indeed, awe-inspiring virtual nature led to a significantly higher number of flyers taken. I forgot to mention that the behavioral measure was signing a real petition and taking flyers to promote the petition. It was a petition towards pro-environmental protection. So the condition awe-inspiring virtual nature lead to a significant higher number of flyers taken, indicating an influence on socially engaging pro-environmental attitudes and behaviors. This suggested that this approach could be a potential useful strategy to promote ecological behaviors. So, to conclude, I think that there are some interesting takeaways from this talk to consider. Positive technology offers exciting opportunities for research innovation in digital well-being. The interdisciplinary nature of positive technology is confirmed by the variety of conceptual analysis that we also have seen today in this very conference, which involve perspectives from psychology, technology, design, neuroscience, and so on. And I think that this diversity allows for the creation of synergies between research communities, all aiming to improve the relationship between people and technology and human functioning in general. But I think a very important objective is achieving a stronger connection between these frameworks, and also to have actionable and more commonly shared design practices, best practices. This is an important research objective, in my opinion. And I think that the importance of focusing on experience rather than focusing on technologies when designing for positive change is key. Technology itself is neither positive or negative. Its impact depends on the experience that individuals have when interacting with technology and to which extent it contributes to positive change. So I think that for the future, positive technology researchers should strive to understand which dimensions of digital tools, such as pleasure, effort, challenges, flow, meaning, positive relationships, competence, can altogether promote positive change. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you so much, sir, for that illustrative narration of the outstanding insights based upon your research and collaborative research, sharing the findings, very illuminative, into reality, interstress versus CBT in nurses, teachers. That was a very interesting study. And of course, with all the background of the positive technology, the past, present, and future, and the insights into the positive technology with an interdisciplinary journey. And the interesting shares on the positive technology, especially that stress assessment and management that we psychologists are heavily interested in. That was a very illuminative talk. I now request the organizers to kindly open the session for any questions. May I request the organizers, Naina?
Yes. So in case anybody has any questions, they can post their questions in the question and answer box.
if possible. Maybe they can unmute themselves and they can ask any question if there is anything, if that is possible. Looks like there is one question. Naina, maybe you should begin.
Yeah, so there's one question that says, can technology also create a certain dependency for people struggling with mental health? How do you look at this dynamic?
Well, this is a very challenging question. Indeed, we know that technology has a profound impact on mental health. And as I mentioned in my talk, it can offer both supportive solutions, but also create dependencies that can exacerbate mental health issues. Of course, understanding this dynamic is important because it requires examining both benefits and the potential pitfalls associated with the use of technology and application for facing mental health challenges. We know, for example, that youth and the younger generation, they are increasingly dependent on social media and so on. So one question for positive technology, one challenging question could be, look, you are, increasing the use of technology, why you should decrease the use of technology? So this is, of course, a paradoxical question, but it's a very important one. But my take on this question is, since technology is a presence in our society, we cannot, avoid encountering technology. We cannot ignore its existence. So positive technology is the idea of giving another direction to technology, which is different from decreasing autonomy, decreasing creativity, decreasing well-being, and all the opposite.
Any more questions, Naina? Would anyone like to unmute themselves and ask any question?
I don't see any more questions in the question and answer box.
Okay, so is it okay to conclude the session then?
Sure, ma'am.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Professor Andrea Gaggioli. That was
Thank
a
you.
very illuminative session. It was very interesting, especially in terms of the application of the VR.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. Have a great conference.
Thank you so much. Over to Naina.
Over the night. Tonight.
Thank you so much, Professor Gaggioli, for sharing your knowledge and your research with us. And thank you so much for being here with us. I'd also like to quickly thank Professor Padmaja for chairing the session and for sparing your time with us. And lastly, our sincere gratitude to the audience for being patient and enthusiastic listeners. And we hope to continue to join us in the upcoming sessions. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Professor Kamlesh Singh, and thank you, the organizers. And thank you, Professor Andrea Gaggioli.
Bye-bye.